Hello, this is Amy Zaby with the Jerusalem Connection Report for Friday, March 3rd. Disturbing tidbits you won't find in the mainstream media. A professor of history named Gil Troy from McGill University, who's on sabbatical as a visiting professor at Haifa University, recently published an article in a February edition of the Jerusalem Post. And in his article, he noted that a McGill University student in a leadership position tweeted in social media, "Punch a Zionist today." And when some pushback occurred, this student reluctantly apologized. But when another student, one of his fellow haters, said, "Don't worry, I'll punch one for you," the first student liked the post. So clearly an unrepentant apology. So the true nature of the atmosphere on college campuses in terms of the nation of Israel and Jewish students, or those who support the nation of Israel, is now becoming quite evident. This kind of violent call was not openly condemned, and we all know that if there was a punch a woman, punch a black person, punch a Muslim, punch a transgender tweet on anybody's social media, the mainstream media as well as all the social media outlets would have pounced on it, and everyone would be condemning such a statement of hate. So the true nature of tolerance, the true nature of safe spaces on college campuses is now being revealed. Our centers of learning are neither safe nor tolerant. This professor goes on to chronicle an incubation of hate against Israel that has been growing on college campuses, and it justifies the violence against every creed that a liberal would often say that they would oppose. So the hate is outweighing the reason. Jewish and Zionist students on McGill's campus endure macroaggressions and open threats, not barely imperceptible microaggressions and triggers, some sort of misconstrued turn of phrase that might make them feel bad. Jewish students and those who support them and the nation of Israel are often the subject of open violence and threats and bullying. Leftists need to get their baseline straight. Either you're for the preservation of feelings, bodies, peace, and furthering of reason and discourse in the name of progress, or you can just openly admit that there are few groups who are deserving of the violence and bullying and intimidation to see things your way. Oftentimes Jewish students, supporters of the nation of Israel, and Christians are the receiving of this exception. This is a very Stalinist way to propel or evangelize one's political agenda, I might add. So back to the article. Mr. Troy, Professor Troy, goes on to explain that to tweet is a mere reflection of garbage in, garbage out, which is occurring on colleges' campus throughout the Western Hemisphere. His response, though, is quite a refreshing one. It's a call to love. Response tweets should be, "Love a Zionist," or "Hug an Israel supporter," in his words. So Professor Troy, I say we are with you. I think all who support Israel and fairness for all and justice would agree with this measure. We need to, in the war of words and in social media, respond with kindness, respond with truth, and respond with justice, and not with a reactionary equal bowing down to that low level. Give those folks enough ropes and they will hang themselves. And people who are espousing truth and progress will indeed lead the way. Another interesting article that was posted was by Walid Issa, a gentleman who is Palestinian and currently living in Minnesota. The St. Paul state government is currently reviewing legislation for anti-BDS measures. Mr. Issa is in support of this bill. He openly notes in his article that the BDS, boycott, divest, and sanction movement to economically and through sanctions and boycotting educational partnerships and whatnot does no good for either Palestinian individuals who live and work in the region or the two-state solution peace process, which he happens to be a proponent of. His article had a subtitle of, "My Palestinian pride is not measured by your hate of Israel." What Mr. Issa is doing in his article is calling out publicly that the BDS movement is neither helping Palestinians individually with their everyday lives, nor are they doing anything to propel any sort of peace process, two-state solution or otherwise. And in this recognition, I'm asking you all who are for BDS to understand what it is you think you're fighting for. The BDS movement needs to ask itself, what are our goals? And they need to explain to their followers what they are. What are the actions leading to? If it's not going to help any individual Palestinians or help the two-state solution peace process or any other peace process, the answer then is obvious. Its goal is to remove Israel from the face of the earth. Therefore, by definition, it is anti-Semitic. And in their goal to do this, any collateral damage to further that cause is okay. That is, Palestinians in the area who are living and working there, it's okay if they get hurt to obtain this goal of eliminating Israel. College students and liberal-minded folks who think they are being humanitarian when they participate in or support any BDS measures have to start to recognize these true goals of the BDS movement. If even a Palestinian who is for a two-state solution, who has lived in the region, grew up there and knows the struggle, says this isn't the way to affect any kind of change, then someone needs to start listening. I'm glad the Minnesota state government is also looking at legislation that recognizes this same outcome. Ask yourself what you stand for, and then act on it. Shavua Tov, have a great week. Shabbat Shalom.